In today's video, we're just going to be doing a small recap on my first half of my no spend year. If you are new here, then you may not know that I am currently on a no spend year, and you may ask, what does that mean? I will link the video above that talks about how my no spend year works, what a no spend year is, and how that works when I have bills and other random expenses that pop up. How do I do that? If you're interested in that video, again, like I said, I'll link that above. But for those of you who have been following me, you do know that I'm on this no spend, and so far so good. So far I'm doing pretty well. I have broken the rules quite a bit. For instance, one of the big rules was that I could eat out once a week, and consistently every month I have broken that. I have eaten out more than 4 times, or I've spent way too much money on groceries. It's a combination of both. But I just wanted to do a recap on how I'm doing so far, how much money I've spent on random things, and how much money I have saved, and just all that good stuff. If you saw my last video, I did post an Excel spreadsheet that just shows a little bit more of a detailed breakdown between different categories of expenses. So referencing that chart again today, I'm gonna just give you guys a couple of totals. So one of my largest totals, well, not one of, my largest total besides rent was groceries. So overall in groceries, I've spent $1,976.40. And then following that, as we discussed in the last video, was Target. So Target purchases accounted for a little over $1,200. Those are all personal items, things that I will be buying regardless if I'm on a no spend or not. Things like shampoo, conditioners, soaps, toothpaste, toothbrushes, mouthwash, just personal care items, right? And then following that category, we have dining out at a little under $1,200. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of the few categories here that were a little unnecessary and how I feel about those totals. One of the categories that is not necessarily unnecessary, but wasn't part of my no spend, was craft items. So I spent about $188 this year so far on craft items. So during quarantine especially, if you can imagine, I wanted things to occupy my time. So I bought paints and canvas, and you know, I did get a free canvas off the side of the road that I found. So that was like a win. But I bought craft items for the boys, personal items, just things to keep myself busy. And along with that same category is home improvement. So $233 in home improvement. So we're looking at about $400 total on things that basically kept me busy during quarantine. Don't love that, but also completely was unexpected. Then I have $266 that I spent on Amazon. And if you followed one of my very first videos, you know that I actually unsubscribed from my Amazon Prime. Well, I ended up resubscribing. And the reason why is because I found that every month I purchase something from Amazon, and it's typically personal care item. I do like waxing, like I wax my armpits and stuff like that. Like those are something that I do buy like once every month or two. So that's something I purchase on Amazon. And I found that not only having Amazon Prime saved me a lot on shipping costs, but it got here quicker. So overall, the $13 I spend a month on Amazon is actually worth it to me. Just for an example of something that I would have bought from Amazon that's kind of unexpected, but I chose to buy from there as opposed to going to Target for like a home item. We got a new refrigerator. Well, when they replaced the refrigerator, they didn't give us the newest one that had the ice maker in it like we've had for 2 years. So I bought a 4-pack of like silicone ice cube trays from Amazon because that was like the best deal, and they got here really quickly. So stuff like that, like really random Amazon purchases that are just unexpected items. I spent $135.38 on clothing. Now, if you remember, I'm allowed to have a spend day every month. Every month I can have one day that I can like buy whatever I want essentially. So for the month of January, I didn't spend anything on clothing. February, I spent $34. March and April, I didn't buy any clothing. Sorry, March, April, and May, I didn't buy any clothing. And then June, I bought a little under $100 worth of clothes. And in July, I bought some accessories. This month I bought $9.54 I spent on these accessories. They're just like accent rings, which I love so far. A lot of money spent in subscriptions. So overall for this year so far, I've spent almost $700 in subscriptions, $687.46. And those subscriptions are a few things. So I have my Spotify, which I use all the time. I have my gym. I have Netflix. I have Busch Gardens, which is a theme park, which is not open right now, but we are supposed to be getting free admission next year since we've been paying every month, even though it's not open. Then I have, what's the other? Oh, Amazon. And then I have every 3 months Xbox Live, which is my gaming. What was that phone? Oh, it was my phone. Xbox Live, and then like for instance in January I had an additional subscription which was $39, and that's my gym fees. So every 6 months, twice a year, you have gym like membership fees. So that's $40. So that's that. Business expenses was $431.98. Those look like things for cost of YouTube, cost of shipped, and I'm starting my doormat business where I'm doing the customized doormats. So things like doormats, stencils, paint. I spent $365 on hair and personal, and 2 of those charges are hair appointments. One of them was a waxing appointment. The other ones, I don't even necessarily know. To be quite honest with you, that's a little bit high. I shouldn't have spent almost $400 on that category. Then I have the $176.95 that was miscellaneous, which I am so disappointed in. That is $176 that is just, I don't even know what it was. It was like random 7-Eleven purchases, just bad. Don't like that. I've spent $500 on birthdays, so $506.72 on birthdays. But the good news is that the 2 birthdays that I celebrated, which are my boyfriend and my best friend, they're the only 2 birthdays I actually celebrate throughout the year. So their birthdays, my birthday. Like I don't celebrate any other family members' birthdays really. Sometimes I'll give my mom something for her birthday, but mostly we just do like Christmas gifts for each other. So really that category actually shouldn't go up any higher for the rest of the year. So let's do a total for the whole year. Let's actually see so far what have we spent. I'm not even gonna do cents, I'm just gonna do the main numbers because I don't want to do cents, okay? Okay, so I did my totals, and without cents, $10,683. So let's just say for good faith, $10,700. So far this year, I have spent $10,700 on the categories that exist in this Excel spreadsheet. That's just a scary number to me. It just seems like a lot of money, but I know that a lot of the stuff I budgeted for, these are things that are in my budget. Let's see how much I've spent in rent so far. Woo! $4,640. All right, so far for rent, from January to August, I've spent $4,640 towards rent. So that brings my total up to closer to $15,000 for the year that I've spent so far. So $15,000, that's less than half of my salary. So that makes me feel good. That makes me feel optimistic for the rest of the year. Yeah, so if I spend less than $15,000, that means I'll have like $5,000 to $10,000 additional dollars left over like I originally had, and that will be in my savings account, hopefully. Here is the pie chart that I made. You guys, I cannot stress to you enough how long it took me to make a pie chart. I tried in Excel
multiple times and the figures just did not come out correctly. I tried third-party apps. I think I tried about 7 to 10 different websites and nothing would give me what I wanted. I finally played around in Excel long enough to get this, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way that it turned out. If anybody watching is kind of scared to use Excel because they feel like it's dated or it's old school, I would suggest playing around with it. I got the result that I wanted in Excel, even though it was really tricky. Getting this total number here in the middle alone was just such a hassle. But here it is. Here is the pie chart that breaks down how much in percentages I have spent how much I've spent in a variety of categories over the course of this year so far. So this is from January 1st to August 30th or 31st, however many days are in August. And here we go. So far we've spent $15,331.05 on all of my expenses. This total does not include the amount of money that I've put in a savings account or how much I've used to pay off like credit card debts or anything like that. Now that I've kind of learned how to do this, I think I can add some categories when I'm ready. As for right now though, I'm just keeping it with the most basic categories. So as you can see, rent was 30% of my budget. After rent, which everyone pretty much pays, so I don't like to count as part of an expense per se, we have groceries, Target, dining out as our highest categories. And basically what that means is groceries and dining out obviously are food. And then Target was a lot of personal items. Again, like I've mentioned before, shampoos and conditioners, toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, cleaning items, dishwashing detergent, laundry detergent, toilet paper, paper towels, air filters, water filters, batteries, light bulbs, the most random things that you just don't necessarily think about buying, but when it comes down to needing it, you go out and buy it because you kind of need it. Unless you live off the grid or are a nomad, of course. But if you live in a house or an apartment or something like that, you kind of need these things. So Target was 8%. Groceries overall was, 21%. So 29 to 30% of my budget was just basically living. So food and necessities. After that, we have car expenses and car insurance takes up about 10%. And then again, just surprisingly, like one of the higher categories was subscriptions at 4% of my budget, which is crazy, which, let's see, that 4% actually makes up $687.46 was just for subscriptions, which is high. And I don't know how I feel about that. That's going to be something I'm probably going to reevaluate next year when I redo my no spend. Maybe possibly try to get that a little lower. And then I have cat expenses, which again is funny because just for them to like live, you know, it costs a bit of money, and that was about $655. Then I have utilities, gas for my car, and like taxes, healthcare. Those are kind of like, can't really avoid those ones. But I was really happy to see only 1% of my budget was clothing. Also 1% miscellaneous and 1% crafts. Just in general, knowing that only 3% of my entire budget spent so far went to those categories just kind of makes me feel good. And then Amazon, home improvement, that's kind of whatever. Business expenses, which is something that's going to get a little bit higher. I am starting a new business venture, and so that category will increase. But overall, guys, I just wanted to show you what this pie chart could look like. I worked so hard on this. I just wanted to give you this visual, and hopefully moving forward, I can do a little bit better at making these pie charts, and for each month, I plan on making one. I hope that the visuals and the breakdown make sense. And at the end of the year in December or early January, I will do, of course, a detailed much more in-depth breakdown of everything I've spent. This number is one thing that I'm kind of interested in. I want to see if by the end of the year, does this number double? So at the very end of the year, is my total going to be 30,000 something? So I'm interested to see that.
That's the expenses part. Overall, savings has been great. I'll put in some information about how my savings accounts are doing.
All right, guys, so let's take a look at a couple of my savings accounts.
The first one is the Citizens Access account. This is my main savings account. I consider this my emergency fund. And I'm up to about 5,600. My APY has gone down to 0.8%. It has just dropped so much this year. Originally, I was at 1.85% was the original APY on this account, but due to coronavirus, everything's just kind of shut down. Next up, I have my Ally account. This is my buckets account. This is my savings account that I use for very specific categories. And I'm at about $13.51 on this account. I do actually need to make a video dispersing this last little bit of balance I put in here into my buckets, and I will be doing that for you soon, I promise. But I'm at $13.51. I was also looking for the APY on this account and I couldn't find it, but I want to say it's also about 0.8%. If you have a savings account, your interest rate is probably close to 0.8%. It usually changes across the spectrum for everybody. And then the last account that I have with Fidelity, I have a 401k as well as my stock options with them. So I haven't really been working, so I know that this total hasn't gone up much. So we're at 6,400 in my total, but for just my 401k, it is $4,800. So far, a little over $10,000 total in savings that I'm at right now. I'd love to see that number go up by 5,000-ish by the end of the year. So that's kind of my goal with the savings. But yeah, everything's just been like really good, and it's been so nice tracking everything and monitoring everything, and I just highly recommend it. Like if you're not already budgeting your money, I recommend that first and foremost. Write down all your expenses so you can have a budget and know how much you need to make and make sure you're making enough to live and save. But secondly, like doing the no spend has been challenging, and I've broken the rules a lot, but it's definitely kept me in line like I needed it to. It's kept me in check. It's made me continuously be able to put money into my savings accounts because I've been not allowed to spend money. And quarantine helped that too. Like I might have spent $400 or $500 towards like crafts, home improvement type items for like quarantine to stay busy, but I also put thousands of dollars away in my savings accounts. So there's the trade-off, you know what I mean? But yeah, so like I said, I just wanted to kind of check in and let you guys know how this first half of the year has gone, and so far so good. I'll of course keep you updated and do a check-in again at the end of the year, and we will go over final numbers and see how I did. So as per usual, if you are doing a no spend year, I'm here with you, and I wish you so much luck and so much prosperity on your journey. If you're doing a no spend month or a no spend challenge, good job, kudos, that's awesome, keep that up. And again, always don't be too hard on yourself, because we mess up, it's okay. We're allowed to do that. But we're taking control, we're doing what we need to do by taking the necessary steps to create a budget and to create little financial diets and little financial hacks that work for us. And so whatever you're doing, whether it's a no spend or not, I commend you, and I wish you so much continued success on your journey. If you have not already, please make sure that you are smashing that like button. If you like this video, even just a little bit, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here on my journey. Please hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Again, I'm uploading content more consistently and more times a month, so I don't want you to miss out on any of my videos, so make sure you hit that bell notification. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!